You gave my life to me, set me free, set me free. The finest years I ever lived.
When I read this account, because Mary says the exact same thing that Martha did earlier.
Hmm.
Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But to me, when Martha's saying it, she's chiding Jesus. Seems like Mary is more just lamenting her pain, but they're saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Are we reading into our perceptions of these two women and the doer versus the contemplative?
I don't think we're reading into it. I think we're applying personality sketch to the story and entering into it. I think it makes total sense. When Jesus saw her weeping and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. I'm struck by Jesus enacting his words here of rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn. And I love that the Son of God, God incarnate, feels the impact of death and doesn't just like blow by it, feels the impact of the things that are amiss. And yet he doesn't let the reality of what's going to come prevent him from an empathetic entering into the moment and honestly looking at just the culture, and the culture is willing to stop for a bit and actually like mark through deep mourning and grief something that needs marking. And I think we're too quick to move past that in these events, you know.
So I just wondered, I mean, is he just sad for his friend, even though something's about to happen? Or is he sort of wrestling with what's about to happen to him soon? And the scene will be repeated very in a very personal way. I don't know who's going to be calling Jesus out. Jesus is calling Lazarus out. Maybe it's just the horrible reality of death and how how it rules the world even today, with the promise that it's the last enemy to be overcome. The resurrection is now, and yet there's a lot of people have died since Lazarus. Even Lazarus is going to die again. You wonder what things looked like for him for those 4 days, what he experienced, and what stories he may have had to tell after he came back. But anyway, it's hard on Jesus.
What you're touching on, I think is huge. I think it's huge. And I would say it's all of the above. I would say Jesus is experiencing everything you talked about. And I'm confident saying that because he was fully human and fully God. And what do we experience when we rush up against the death of a loved one? We experience everything you touched on. It evokes our own mortality. It makes us like stop for a minute, which is, I think, part of the reason why, as a culture, you don't see us stopping down, shutting down and putting on sackcloth and ashes and mourning for 40 days. It's part of, I mean, America is a Martha country, right? Like, let's face it. But yeah, I think Jesus is feeling all of this. My sister-in-law passed away really unexpectedly about 6 years ago. And this is my brother that's closest to me in age. He's 10 years older than me, but closest to me in age. So just, out of the blue, um, like a Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday morning, got a call from my oldest brother, and it was completely unexpected. She had a massive heart attack. But so I just immediately sat down what I was doing and drove the 2.5 hours to go be with my brother. And on the way there, like, where are you, God? Like, where are you in this? And honestly, this text, this exact text that we're in, came to my mind and felt like probably one of the clearest times I've heard a word from God. And what it condensed down to was, this is where Jesus is in those moments where we experience catastrophic loss. He's weeping. He's weeping with us, even as he knows that the next thing that occurs is resurrection life. Like it doesn't prevent him from entering into and being with us in the reality of the moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, amen. I find it funny that as the big moment's about to come, moving ahead to verse 39, Martha has to point out to him, she's not captivated by the resurrection that's about to happen. She has to set Jesus straight that what you're about to do is a bad idea because there's going to be a bad smell. And to me, it says it's very practical. Yeah.
What are you doing?
And
like, what's the point in this?
Yeah, and she's setting him straight again. Lord, if you'd been here, this wouldn't happen. Now that you're doing something about it, even though you just told me you are the resurrection and the life, you're making a mistake here. And and Jesus, like, didn't I tell you that if you believe, you'll see the glory? But the interplay between personalities of chiding and correcting with the supernatural is in full play here in John chapter 11, just like it is in our lives. And and it's not like he's not like he's saying, you're ruining the moment here,
no.
Martha. He's just like, it's coming. Don't worry, it's coming. And
I think that's so important. That's so important. Like the Jesus I grew up believing in, I would have expected her to turn around and verbally slap her, right? For her chiding. Like, who dares chide God? And he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that at all. Like he's got patience for both Mary and Martha.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's regardless of where we tend to land, I think understanding that Jesus receives us as we come and works with us. Yeah. But you don't see him rebuking Martha. He's just like, wait a second. Like, wait till you see what's coming next.
Yeah. Hang on.
Just to touch you once again.